Today on BRStv, we have a quick product demo on Pukani dry rock. I can personally bring home any of the rocks we sell. There are tens of thousands of pounds to select from, and this is the one I personally choose for my own tanks almost every time. Pukani is the lightest and most porous of all the rocks we sell, which makes it the best value, by far the easiest to manipulate for aquascaping, comes pest-free, and provides high volumes of surface area for filtration and habitat for microfauna. Pukani rock is crazy light and porous, and I guarantee the first time you pick a piece up, you'll say, holy cow, is this light. This is a result of the rock being naturally pretty low density, combined with an incredibly porous surface just filled with holes that traverse the entire structure of the rock. To give you an idea of value, we put 40 pounds of standard Fiji in this tank and 40 pounds of Pukani in the same size tank. You can instantly see the volume of rock you get with Pukani is significantly larger. More or less, this means you can buy fewer pounds of rock and save some hard-earned dollars. On top of that, dry rock is relatively cheap to begin with and doesn't require overnight shipping. In fact, if your order is over $175, it ships for free. The low density also makes it the easiest to manipulate. You can create all kinds of modifications with a hacksaw, chisel, or Dremel. One of my favorite modifications is taking a piece like this, which would otherwise never balance, and creating a flat, stable bottom with a hacksaw. This results in some stunning structures that would otherwise be pretty difficult. Since the bottom is flat, this is something that can even be siliconed directly to the glass bottom of a new tank. You can use a chisel and a hammer to really mold it any way you like, including creating an entire cave network right through the middle of the piece. Notice the irregular way that the chisel cuts its way through results in a really natural look. I typically use a nice narrow wood chisel and metal mallet for this. The end result of doing this can be pretty stunning and produce structures that would otherwise be completely impossible. Rather than just lay the two pieces on top of each other, you can also chisel or Dremel some of the curved edges off so the pieces fit together nicely, which will not only allow for a nice stable structure, but also looks much more natural and seamless. In the joints, you can add some thick aquascaping super glue like Paleo Bond, and it will be completely stable. The number one reason I use dry rock in general these days is because I'm in this for the long haul, and wet live rock will almost certainly introduce at least one unwanted pest, if not many. The difference between a 1 to 2 year successful tank and a 5 to 10 is not letting you get overrun with pests like Aptasia, bubble algae, flatworms, fireworms, red bugs, parasitic isopods, or flukes that will attack your fish and a whole slew of other weird algae found in the ocean. I start with dry rock and don't put anything in the tank. I don't closely inspect for pests and dip prior to adding to the tank. It's likely something will sneak by at some point, but it's been my experience that as long as I start with dry rock, I'll avoid a vast majority of them. Lastly, this porous surface and internal network of holes serves as habitat for a wide variety of critters in the tank. Many of the Anthias and Chromis bed down at night in the crevices. I have a dwarf golden moray eel, which is constantly weaving in and out of the rock, and I know enjoys the security it finds in all these crevices. The internal network also provides a safe harbor for copepods and amphipods to safely reproduce away from predators like fish. These pods not only provide a natural food source for the fish, but I also tend to believe the theory that this army of pods is constantly scavenging the surface of the rock, removing unwanted waste, as well as likely grazing on the tiny bits of algae before it gets a chance to grow and show up as nuisance algae we can see. Curing Pukani is a lot like curing wet rock, since both come out of the ocean with some organic material on the surface. Difference here is uncured wet rock comes with sponges, algae, and other organics, which are often in a state of decay, and it may take a while for the process to stabilize. With dry rock, all the organics are dead, and you just need to wait for them to break down. Either way, the process is typically the same. Soak the rock in heated salt water with good flow for a month or so. This is best done in a dark container, but it can be done in the tank itself as long as the lights are turned off. Once the cycle is complete, you should replace all the water in the rock bin or do a 100% water change in the tank to get rid of the nutrients like nitrate and phosphate produced during the curing process as the organics broke down. Pretty much the same as you would with curing wet live rock. There's no reason to start a brand new tank with any excess nutrients. Pretty common these days to jumpstart the cycle process with a bacterial booster product like Bio-Spira or Red Sea's Reef Mature Pro Kit. Coralline algae will begin to populate the moment you add a source like a crushed up rock, shell, or coral base that has some live coralline algae on it. After that, all you need to do is maintain calcium and alkalinity with a particular focus on alkalinity, and it'll cover most of the rock in no time. If this is your first time with us, hit that subscribe button because we do this every week. If you have any questions or comments for us or fellow reefers, check out the comments area down below. See you next week with another episode of BRStv.